Straight ahead on 12 News, sniffling and congestion are common this time of year. In Health Check, one new method to handle chronic sinusitis. Then, the new law that requires recycling at most workplaces starting January 1st. But first, impaired behind the wheel.
Could be drugs, could be alcohol, could be prescription drugs, marijuana.
A voluntary way to help keep family members safe. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. With the new year just a few days away, extra patrols are on the roads looking for impaired drivers.
88 people were killed in Minnesota in drunken driving-related accidents in 2014. As Sonia Goins reports, a Maple Grove man is marketing a tool aimed at preventing impaired people from driving.
What I need you to do is stand with your feet together.
No one wants to be stuck on the side of the road having to do a sobriety test.
Follow it with your eyes and your eyes only.
Drinking and driving is just a bad idea, especially when you consider 1 in 4 road fatalities in Minnesota are caused by drunk driving.
We're all about not letting the motorist start the car.
Once you have the safe key installed in your car.
Jim Rennie is the executive director of Safe Key Corporation. His company markets a device called the Safe Key System.
We sell these every day. They're voluntary.
Jim says the ignition interlock system will not only detect if a person has had too much to drink.
Many folks are driving impaired.
But it can pick up on other things too.
Could be drugs, could be alcohol, could be prescription drugs, marijuana.
Because it's voluntary.
And it works.
The goal is to prevent any problems before they occur.
There's an intervention. So that could be mom and dad really worried about 17-year-old in the northwest suburbs that's had some close calls.
Here's how it works. Before the driver starts the vehicle, they have to perform a cognitive test.
Basically, you start it up here.
The driver has to follow a series of lights on the device.
So that was 7 lights. That green signal communicates with the ignition interlock, and you can start your car in 10 seconds.
If the person fails the test 3 times,
so here's an example of a fail.
They can't take the test again for another hour, and the vehicle won't start.
If you fail this test, a reaction test, a hand, brain, eye test that correlates very closely to making mistakes on the road, crossing the center line, not braking in time.
There's also a GPS component to the Safe Key system.
It allows loved ones to know where that car is, track them, receive alerts when the car enters or exits an area of concern.
Jim hopes the device will not only change the behavior of the person using it, but he hopes it brings peace of mind to their loved ones.
Families have these issues. Every family does, and we're all about preventing that.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The Safe Key system can also be used to monitor people with diabetes or Alzheimer's. The device cost is about $300.
Well, they said it was going to snow, and it did, but here in the Northwest Metro, it didn't pile up as high as in other parts of the Metro. According to Steve Reckers, the weather watcher in New Hope, 2.9 inches of snow fell overnight. That gives us about 12 inches so far this season, but it's about 10 inches behind normal. Still, there were problems for motorists. The State Patrol reports more than 240 crashes since the snow started falling Monday afternoon. There were also more than 24 injuries, but none of them were serious. Business owners may want to pay attention to this next story. In a couple of days, a new recycling law goes into effect.
Eric Nelson joins us now to break it all down. Eric?
Yeah, Alex and Mike, it is time for some trash talk. This is actually a change that expands a law already enforced by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. Beginning on January 1st, business owners in the Twin Cities metro area that generate 4 cubic yards of trash or more per week must recycle at least 3 different items.
It is a law, so there will be follow-up by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency based on tips and whatnot to get in touch with the business owners to meet the ordinance.
Now, trash that can be recycled includes paper, bottles, cans, cardboard, and organic waste. Businesses generate over 50% of the garbage in Hennepin County, and much of that trash can be recycled. The new law will allow businesses to literally turn their trash into treasure.
We want to capture this recyclable or compostable material because of the nature of it being able to be reproduced into something better. But secondly, yeah, the landfills are filling up, so we want to conserve the landfill space for what we truly can't, unfortunately can't recycle or can't compost.
Hennepin County says there's grant funding available to help businesses that are not already recycling. Alex and Mike?
All right, Eric, thank you. Well, Golden Valley will begin the new year with a new police chief.
That's right. Current Golden Valley Police Chief Stacy Carlson's last day on the job is Thursday, December 31st. After 8 years in Golden Valley and more than 28 years in law enforcement, Carlson is moving on to a new job opportunity with the state. Carlson says she is proud of her department's community outreach efforts and its level of professionalism.
I'm super, super proud. Couldn't be more proud of the things we've done as a team here. But I just think, for me, there's a time to move on and for me to stay challenged as well, which is what I strive to get all the employees to do for themselves.
Current police commander Jason Sturgis becomes Golden Valley's new police chief on Friday. This week, we are taking a look back at some of the top headlines in the Northwest Metro in 2015.
In March, Pierre Collins called 911 to say his son was missing. That touched off a huge effort by Crystal Police and others to find out what happened to Barway Collins.
The Crystal Police Department had committed determination to follow every lead and examine every single possibility, hoping that it was not, in fact, Pierre Collins who had murdered his son.
In October, the effort earned the praise of the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, and as Sonia Goins reports, it was a case that had an impact on the department.
I was with my niece and my sister-in-law shopping the day that I got the call that his body was found in the river.
Chief Stephanie Revering says that the Barway Collins case is one she'll never forget.
It was very emotional from the start.
This is the last time 10-year-old Barway Collins was seen. The boy went missing March 18th, shortly after getting off of a school van. For weeks, the community and law enforcement officials frantically searched for the boy. While the search was emotionally draining for people who love Barway, it also took a toll on the Crystal Police Department, many of whom have children of their own.
I have 2 adult stepchildren. I have a beautiful nieces and nephews.
Chief Stephanie Revering described what the investigation was like.
I could not imagine as a parent or aunt, uncle, grandfather, grandparent, I couldn't imagine somebody even thinking that this is okay to do.
From the beginning, she says they knew Barway Collins' dad, Pierre Collins, wasn't being honest.
From the minute that Pierre actually reported his son missing, his story wasn't lining up with what he was telling us.
I've been working with them, so I don't know why they say that I'm not being truthful. I'm doing everything that I can do for my son to be home.
Several investigators questioned Pierre Collins for weeks.
Many interviews of Pierre Collins was done in here.
The chief says Pierre voluntarily came to the police station to tell his side of the story. They were eager to listen. Did he fail a lie detector test?
He did.
Police used this room to brainstorm and gather facts.
It's actually called the community room. However, it's also our Emergency Operations Center.
The space is empty now, but this is what it looked like several weeks after the case was solved.
We had about 30 FBI agents in here, and the BCA was here, Sheriff's Office, and then all of our staff.
On April 11th, a group of volunteers found Barway's badly decomposed body floating in the Mississippi River.
I knew he was most likely going to be found in the river, but it was sad. It was a very sad day.
Electronic evidence put Pierre at the scene. He was arrested on April 14th and charged with second-degree murder. A few weeks later, he confessed.
What possessed him to do it, I have no idea.
While the case is officially closed,
Pierre admitted to killing his son, and it's over in our minds.
Chief Revering and the rest of the department say Barway Collins will forever remain in their hearts.
We see emotional things every single day in our job. However, we certainly don't expect to see a 10-year-old get his life taken away by his father.
And Pierre Collins is now serving a 40-year prison term.
Coming up on Wednesday, another top story from 2015 involving police. This time, the New Hope police chief sits down with us to discuss the night an armed man opened fire in City Hall last January. Coming up next, one answer for a sniffly problem that affects many in the winter.
And then later in sports, Maple Grove peppers the Irondale net in girls' holiday hockey action.
But first, a great day for sledding in your AccuWeather forecast. We'll be right back. Sniffling and nasal congestion are almost commonplace this time of year.
And those are symptoms that generally go away after a few days, but for many people, the symptoms can last for weeks. In today's Health Check, Elaine Cleveland looks at how a relatively new technology is helping to improve the lives of people with chronic sinusitis.
People still have a warm heart.
Chris Sarkinen has taught in the Robbinsdale School District for 14 years.
Still a lot of very special people here.
And for 13 of those years, he had to deal with prolonged sinus inflammation, also known as chronic sinusitis.
Oftentimes my sinuses would peak in trouble during the fall and hay fever season, and things just wouldn't clear up.
Doctors say chronic sinusitis can last for months, making life painful for those who suffer from it due to the various symptoms.
Nasal blockage or obstruction, facial pressure, headaches, pain, drainage from the nose, either out the front or down the back.
Treating chronic sinusitis can involve antihistamines or antibiotics, but those treatments didn't work for Sarkinen.
They would help for a time, and then as soon as I'd go off the antibiotics, the sinus infection would come back.
Sarkinen opted to get sinus surgery, involving a relatively new steroid-releasing implant called Propel.
This is a much more effective way of putting the steroid where you want it and keeping it where you want it.
The Propel implant is placed in...
During surgery, doctors would put the Propel implant in the ethmoid sinus, located between the eyes. It then expands to prop open the sinus and gradually releases an anti-inflammatory medicine directly to the sinus lining.
Yeah, it is definitely a game changer and a tool to basically, especially during surgery, keep those openings open instead of having them scarring back down and undoing what we've just done with the procedure.
While Dr. Johnson calls it a game changer, for Sarkinen, it's been a life changer.
But I would say I really haven't thought about my sinuses, you know, in months.
In Maple Grove, Elaine Cleveland, 12 News.
Well, coming up, it's dress up for a good reason.
But first in sports, it's a great battle as #1 Benilde St. Margaret's faces defending state champion Lakeville North. Jay Wilcox says that and more when we come back.
The Benilde St. Margaret's boys hockey team is ranked first in the Let's Play Hockey Class AA state rankings. Monday, the Red Knights faced off on the first day of their 8-team, 3-day tournament. Undefeated BSM facing reigning state champion Lakeville North. Early first period, Ryan Poling whistles the wrist shot in for goal. It's 1-0 Panthers. Time winding down in the first, Benilde's Peter Heimbold makes a rush and his slap shot finds the net as the time expires, and it's 1-1. Second period, Benilde turns it over and Poling sets up Blake Brandt for the Lakeville North goal. With the Red Knights down 3-2 late in the second, Cade Glico finds Zach Risto for the equalizer. It's 3-3 heading to the third. Brandt strikes again for the Panthers as he whacks in the loose puck for a 4-3 Lakeville North lead. Benilde evens the score again as Augie Moore corrals the rebound and flicks it top shelf. It's 4-4 at the end of regulation. A few exciting chances in OT, but no goals, and this game ends in a 4-4 tie. Maple Grove is also playing in that tournament. The Crimson beat Moorhead 3-1 Monday behind 2 goals from Jack Kelly. Earlier Tuesday, though, the Crimson faced Stillwater and lost 8-2. Maple Grove plays Benilde Wednesday afternoon at 5. It's a big week for girls holiday hockey, too. The Maple Grove girls are one of 3 local squads playing in Edina. Maple Grove and Irondale face off on the opening day of the Walzer Invitational. On the rush, Maple Grove's Taylor Wente fires. It's off goalie Callie Elwell and in for a 1-0 Crimson lead. Later in the first, Wente circles from behind the net and through a screen snaps the wrist shot under the crossbar. It's 2-0 Crimson as they dominate the opening period. Second period, Wente strikes again. She circles out high and zips a wrister home to complete the pure hat trick, and it's 3-0 Crimson. Manon McMahon steals the puck for the Crimson along the boards and sets up Katie Denicky for the wicked wrister high on the glove side. It's 4-0 Maple Grove. They lead 5-0 through 2. In the third, Denicky jumps the puck carrier and then sets up Lauren Kaufman for the tap-in. Defending tournament champion Maple Grove rolls to a 6-0 win. They're facing Stillwater in the semis. Also at Edina, Breck met up with Grand Rapids Greenway in the quarterfinals. After a scoreless first, Breck's Grace Zumwinkle circles into the slot and fires through a screen and finds the net for a 1-0 Mustangs lead early in the period. Then on a 5-on-3 power play, Anna Zumwinkle slides the pass to her sister Grace, and she blasts the slap shot home to make it 2-0 Breck after a somewhat shaky start in this one for the Mustangs. And their goalie, Sydney Scobie, makes that lead stand up, stopping the first shot here and then pouncing on the rebound. Breck skates to a 2-0 win. A local high school product wrapped up a solid season with the Gophers in their bowl win Monday. Number 86, sophomore tight end Brandon Lingen, a former Wayzata High School standout, had 5 catches for 33 yards in the Gophers' 21-14 win over Central Michigan at the Quick Lane Bowl. For the season, Lingen was third on the team with 33 catches for 428 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he was named Academic All-American. Well, back in the day when much of the land around here was prairie and farmland, there were just 3 public high schools, Osseo, Wayzata, and Robbinsdale. And Robbinsdale High School lost one of its first big athletic stars over the holidays. Don Dale passed away on Christmas Eve. Don was an All-State and All-American basketball player who graduated from Robbinsdale in 1950. He led the Robins to the state basketball tournament his senior year, back when it was a 1-class 8-team tournament. The Robins finished second that year, and Dale led all tournament players in scoring, averaging 26.7 points per game. He was named All-Conference, All-District, and All-Region twice. Dale played 2 years at the University of Minnesota before embarking on a successful career in business and was inducted into the Robbinsdale High School Athletic Hall of Fame in 2013. Don Dale was 83 years old.
Brooklyn Park is hoping to get a little bit of help clearing snow from fire hydrants, and they're having a little fun in the process.
Yeah, the city has launched a competition to dress up a hydrant. The idea is to first sign up to adopt the hydrant, meaning you promise to keep it clear of snow, then dress it up using winter clothing, a costume, or cultural clothing that reflects the diversity of Brooklyn Park.
What we essentially want people to do is to take ownership in making their neighborhood safe, and this is a fun way to do that. And so be creative with it, have fun with it.
Well, of course, you would keep the clothing on the hydrant just long enough to take a picture, then take it off. Then you post the picture on the city's Facebook or Twitter pages, and the costumes will be judged at the end of January. And you could end up winning a lunch for up to 20 people at the Brooklyn Park Fire Station, and that could be fun.
You could really have some fun with that. That's true. They did already.
That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here again tomorrow at 4.